Good day everybody, bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, on va enlever la pompe à eau, c'est un 2.5 yamaha. Today we'll be removing the water pump on the 2.5 horsepower Yamaha. So as we're looking around, comme qu'on regarde, there's two covers. That's the first thing we have to remove, a cover on this side and a cover on the other side. On a deux couverts, un sur chaque côté. Inside, we can see the head of the bolt. On peut voir la tête de la bolt. On va lousser ça sur les deux côtés. We'll loose this bolt on both sides. So this way, when we're removing the bolts that are retaining the lower unit, I have 3 bolts here. 1, 2, and 3. On démanche, on lousse et on enlève ces 3 bolts-là. And the whole stack up of the lower unit will come out. And then we'll get the pump. On va enlever les 3 bolts, on enlève la basse partie du moteur, puis on va être capable d'avoir accès à la pompe à eau. So now that my caps are off, I remove them on both sides, but only on one side you have the bolt, and the bolt is what's going to attach your gear shift. I'll put the light there. Every time I put my gear shift there, that's when I'm going to be loosening. So as I'm removing the lower unit, this will stay there, but the gear shift that goes down will come out. Fait que là, en loussant ça, mon contrôle de transmission, je vais être capable de le sortir. So I'll do that. Okay guys, so just to give myself more room, I will remove the propeller here. So I'll have better access, especially for those 2 bolts here. Fait que là, bonjour tout le monde, on va enlever l'hélice. Ça va donner plus d'accès pour être capable d'enlever les bolts. Là, je vais enlever l'hélice. On enlève la bolt. The washer. Et on enlève l'hélice. Là, on a plus d'accès pour nos 3 bolts. Okay, so now the prop is removed, so I have more room, as you can see, to be able to remove the bolt. Là, j'ai plus de place pour travailler à enlever mes bolts à cause que l'hélice est enlevée. So now at this point, I got the 3 bolts loosened up. It's gonna split right here. And what is very important is that you undid the shift gear. The shift gear in there. So in theory, it should come out no problem. So now I have the lower unit removed. That is my cooling tube that brings the cooling water to the engine. So now instead of taking it all apart, I made myself a little strand of like wire, you know, metal wire. At the end, I make like a loop. So if there's anything in there, I will be able to hook it or loosen it. So I make sure that not just by changing the pump, I'm inspecting as well the tubes, because if you put a new pump and the tube is full of dirt, well, the water won't pass. So now I can see everything looks good. And look, by the length of it, I know I'm going all the way in. I was able to reach all the way with my little loop wire, scrape it a bit. Everything feels good inside. So for me, it tells me it's my pump that is the problem. Because the water was coming out, not coming out, you know, never steady. I didn't have a steady flow. So this is good. After that, I went just to make sure. Well, my look is. I take another part of it and I go where the water comes from. Not comes from, but comes out. Parce que l'eau elle sort. So I put my little wire there and I make sure everything is nice. So when that's done, I take some compressed air. Here I'm lucky, I have a compressor with a small compressor, but if you don't have this, you can take a can to clean your computer, compress air. That will do the same job. So first, I'm coming here and I can feel the air coming out of the tube very good. No obstruction. Since this 2.5 horsepower is a long shaft, ça c'est un pied long. Cette partie-là est de plus comparé au pied court. So now we have to remove this. There's a small circlip here. You just remove the circlip. On enlève la clip. So I take it. I remove this, the clip. Then it will come apart. Okay, so now at this point, I took a small Scotch-Brite there to be able to clean the shaft, okay? Because when I'm going to be moving the pump up, it's going to be riding on the shaft, so it was dirty and a little bit of rust. If I leave that on, maybe I won't be able to take it out smoothly. So now we'll be removing the 4 bolts that I have all around that keeps the pump attached to the lower unit. And there was a water tube there that they removed to have access to it. And the water tube, if you do install, there's like 2 tanks here that fits in 2 tanks, so it sits in there in good place, so that's no problem. And you force it in, but making sure that these sticks out. So I'm keep going with the bolt removing. Now we have the 4 bolts loose. Okay, look at the way the tangs are. You know, the recess is towards the shaft. So I'll be removing the whole assembly here. Here it goes up. Okay. And now we can see the impeller there, which looks pretty well worn out. So that was my problem. Okay, so now I just remove the impeller. I just slide it up the shaft. It's out. Now I want to make sure, before I change my impeller, which is very soft, before I put the new one, I want to make sure I have no blockage from the water getting sucked in and up to the area here. So I will, oh, very important, the locking key here, this part, you don't want to lose this. This was going to give the drive to impeller. Now I want to show you the impeller. See, there's a groove here, and that's where it's going to fit in. As I'm putting on top, it has to ride on top of the key, so you have good rotation of your impeller. So we don't want to lose this. So now I will be removing the plate. Okay, the plates, removing the plate. Now I have the whole portion, so I will take a small scriber and I will clean everything, and I will, and if I look inside, there's the hole, and the hole here will line up with all the hole. Maybe you can see my scriber there in front of those holes. So I'm making sure I'm scraping everything. Making sure everything is clean. And then I will use some compressed air, like I said, either from a can that you clean your computer, or with a small compressor like I have, to blow all the dirt out of those cavities before we put it together. Okay, so now I'm ready to take the lower part of the motor. Je suis prêt à prendre les pieds du moteur. And one thing you have to make sure, une chose qu'il faut faire sûr, the drive gear, vous le mettez au neutre. You put this to neutral. Neutral means you have to go down, push down. Vous poussez en bas pour être au neutre. Et puis en même temps, vous prenez le levier du moteur et vous faites sûr que vous êtes au neutre. You take the lever of your motor and you put it in neutral. So this way, he's in neutral down there, he's in neutral there. I'm gonna put it in, and you remember, come on this side. So you remember the nut that we saw here? The internal tube, when I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna be able to tighten it from there. And that is the control from my lever, neutral to being put in gear. Fait que quand je bouge mon levier de contrôle, c'est ici que ça va jouer pour embrayer ou désembrayer mon pied de moteur. Alors là, je vais prendre le pied de moteur puis je vais le mettre dedans. Ok, juste pour vous autres savoir, c'est direct là-dedans qui va aller ma route de contrôle pour embrayer, désembrayer. Et en serrant ça ici, ça va le coincer. The shift stick there has to go into the groove here, and as you're tightening up the nut here, it's going to capture your lever to put it in gear or not. Right inside there. This is a water tube to bring the water in, and this is your shifter to go in the forward position. Okay, as you're putting the lower part in, okay, you cannot really go wrong. There's three different lengths. The length of the shaft, the length of the shifter, and the length of the tube. So obviously when I go in, the first thing that's going to go in is going to be the shaft here. Number 1, number 2, number 3. So as we're going in, I'm going to do one at a time. So now I put the foot in. When I put the foot in, I have to make sure that I line up properly the shift gear. And the shift gear has to be, let's say, this is the part, in this particular engine, the bolt is out on the head of the bolt is on the side of the shifter. And at the same time, you can see that it has to be like this, you know. So now it went in, and when I'm going to play with the lever, when I tied it up, you can see. So I made sure that the water tube lined up as I pushed it in. I made sure that the shaft lined up with the engine good. When I pushed it in, it was a little bit of a struggle. It took me about a minute to be able to get it in. But don't panic, take your time, hold it up good. It went in. So now I'm going to put the bolts. I removed the prop. It gives me more access to the head of the bolt. So I'm going to tighten these up. Je vais serrer ceux-là. Puis comme que je vous disais, il faut aligner le shaft du pied qui rentre dans le moteur. Votre tube à eau, faire sûr qu'il est bien rentré aussi, à la bonne place, à ce qu'on avance. On est mieux d'être 2 personnes pour faire ça. Et puis, finalement, c'est un petit peu pénible. Ça a pris à peu près une minute et demie à faire. Mais découragez-vous pas, tout s'arrange. So now, you have to put the torque on the boat. The torque is 70 foot-pound or 7.4 foot-pound or 10 Newton-meter. So I'm putting this there, and I cheat a bit, I already torque it. You can see I'm at the proper torque. Now, if you come here and you look at the mechanism, you remember when I told you to push the shift stick in, quand je vous ai dit de le mettre au neutre, put it in neutral. Now connected. Perfect. No binding, no nothing. So now the only thing that is left is to put the two plugs on each side, pushing the two plug in, putting the prop in, and you just save hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So see you for the next time I have to fix my motor. Bye bye.